Now, oh gosh, where's my microphone gone? Oh, what have I done with it? It's there. I haven't lost it after all. Not that way. Today's special problem is quite simply one of damp. I leave my work clothes here, there's no point in taking them home, and get changed here. That's what I have been doing. Having this top on the roof of this car it's soaking wet.
Look at me trying to explain something there whilst using a hairdryer. That doesn't work, does it?
A couple of people have complained about the sound quality on my recent videos, and then you may have noticed I've managed to improve it, and all with the same microphone. Now this microphone doesn't seem to do too well if you're too close up to it, so I find if I just sort of attach it just under here like so, cover it up, then that's all fine. No longer too loud. However, if I shout a little bit, I'm sure it'll go a bit distorted. But before I'd even had this microphone kindly given to me, I'd actually already ordered another one because the previous one I bought was just cack, and it's in here. Well, I found some instructions, but they are translated from Chinese. Why? Why can I never find my reading glasses?
Recording through USB microphone, but will it work? Well, yes, it does work. But how convenient will this microphone work out to be? What's the range? Is the sound any better than the other one? This is about as far as I need to be, so walking back to the car, bit of wind coming to me there, so see how that affects it. Talking to myself as if I didn't know who I am. I didn't know who I am. But can I shout? Can I raise my voice and without distorting the sound as well? That's another rather important factor to this minor test. We're not finished there because I need to find out whether this is suitable in a quiet area, the quiet environment, as we are now. Will it sound false? Will it just sound weird? And then when I start the engine up, I need to be able to hear that as well. Engine on, as you can hear.
It's nice.
Radio off. And what I don't want it to do, if there's a bit of noise cancelling on this microphone, is to try and get rid of a certain frequency of noise, which then ends up getting rid of half of my voice, like one of my previous microphones did. Another test now is to wear the microphone underneath the item of clothing, so for one thing it can't be seen, and also it might even improve the sound somewhat. In a previous episode of Have I Already Bitten Off More Than I Can Chew, I decided I would buy all of the gear to start doing my own spraying. No more rattle cans for me. No, I want a professional job. I have, of course, picked the wrong time of year to be doing this, because it's November, near the end of November, and it's damp, and it's cold, and it's damp, and it's, well, wet. And those particular qualities do not go well with painting. The solution is to have this lockup free. So this car in here, that drove itself in here, needs to drive itself back out so I can make the preparations happen. As of course you will be very familiar with if you follow my channel, my lockup is always full of stuff because I have lots of things going on in here. In fact, there isn't really a single surface to even put my tripod down safely. That's a small point, I know, but it means I have to move things out of the way every time I want to put the tripod down. Having said that though, of course, I can't have like a tripod area, just one tripod area, because the purpose of the tripod is you can move your device around all over the place. So yeah, let's forget I even said that. I'm not even putting that bit in the video. Mind you, I always do that and then put it in. So this time I definitely won't be doing. So, as I've said, this area needs to be a lot clearer, which means this car needs to go outside. But there are a couple of things with that. The first one, of course, is it doesn't start, so it won't go out by itself. And the other is, the car's already damp inside. The Rover did make cars that quite often ended up letting water in. But that problem is exacerbated beyond belief when you can't close the sunroof. To help though, this car has been inside for quite a while, so much of the water inside the carpet has gone, but it doesn't mean it won't come back. And I also have a wet and dry vacuum cleaner so I can get rid of the rest of it. But I do need to do something about this sunroof. And as I've found, simply taping up the roof doesn't stop the water from getting in. To start with though, the Rover 800 does have some rather strange electrical gremlins. So I'm hoping if I just connect the battery, the sunroof might just start to close itself. And if I can get it closed, then I can disconnect the battery and there's nothing to actually cause it to go back open again. Well, let's find out. Walking round the other side of the car where I find myself in a trip hazard, a trip hazard, a trip hazard everywhere. And here we are, around the other side of the car, where we'll find ourselves a battery terminal. And there we go. The car is now plugged in to its own mains. Nothing happening so far with the sunroof. Let's give it time. How much time does it need though before I need to find an alternative? Just as I turned my back, it did it all by itself. Look at that. As far as it's gone. Could do it go a bit further though, couldn't it? It's got that far and then just stopped. Now, as I remember, there is some sort of manual override on these sunroofs. So you basically have to unclip the interior light and find where it is. So I'm going to do that now. You need the car involved, so you can't just park it up and then walk off to your destination. So are you confused yet? Oh, come on, mate. When you go across the road, you need to look first rather than just set off across, get halfway across and then realise that there's a car coming. That's what you should do. Yeah, right, so what I was going to say is, are you confused yet? Are you confused by this video? Because I certainly would be. I started off with one task in mind, and that's quickly developed into an entirely different task that couldn't possibly happen, and now a different one's happening instead. And I'm still testing out my microphone, so I don't even know whether it's recorded that. Boaty's behind me as well, in these MGF TF. He brought it down here today so it could go in for MOT, but we had a bit of mix-up of communication. He said he'll bring it down for MOT if it can be booked in. And I said, are you popping down today because we need to collect a car? And somehow that ended up as two entirely different ideas and purposes from coming down in the first place. Is that confusing? I hope so. I have a car to go and see this afternoon. And now, of course, I'm still going to go and see it because I've arranged to go and see it. But Boaty won't have time to come and see it with me.
These are these new biodegradable ones. The ones that we were using, that we get from Istanbul and whatnot, they're now illegal.
Are they?
That it's not like a hard case, it's more like a sock.
I'll have a sock of chips, please.
Yeah, they're very soft.
Time to deploy the Nigel again. Reasonably important that I go out to Bradford. It seems to have developed an echo, so I don't actually know what I've done there to get this echo on and how you get it off. Both devices switched off and then switched back on again. Will that work? Recording without a microphone. Recording with a microphone. Now recording with the other microphone. Wasn't expecting a whole load of hassle with that already. This new wireless microphone comes with sound effects, which I didn't realise, so I must have been pressing buttons willy-nilly and ended up bunging on an echo. This is a seriously upside down day now. Space is definitely premium in the yard at the moment, and obviously I'm a bit inundated with the amount of work I have to do, so I thought the best thing I could do would be to go and buy another car. But the trouble is, if they are good, you don't really want to say no. So, I'm off on another little mission out whilst testing my new microphone to find out what it's like in all sorts of different
Turn left to stay on Lady House.
conditions.
Turn left onto Elizabethan Way.
And it's getting a bit dark, but it's really with everything being so confusing today, it's probably not the best time to be going off potentially buying a car, because I might get confused about that as well. So far today, I arrived a lot later than I was expecting to. I started making a confusing video about this microphone. Bolty turned up, but he turned up for a different reason to what I thought he was going to turn up for. And he also said I'm a bit confusing today. He's confused by me. Imagine that. Where I thought we was going to have to view this car during the daytime, when there's two of us, so if we buy it, there's one of us to drive it back. Instead, I'm going at the beginning of the evening, where there's only one of me. And I've got absolutely no chance of driving it back and driving this at the same time. It doesn't work. So if this car is as good as I'm expecting, I'm going to have to enlist the help of Allegro Man. He needs his own theme tune, that guy. Allegro Man, the tune 40. Apparently 40 is the best speed to go along this strip of road. I don't think so. The concerning thing is that might suggest we're about to hit a traffic jam. I've had enough of those. I've had enough of those for the past couple of days. I don't want any more now. Ah, that's why. Shit. Look. Yeah, this turned out to be a strange one in the end. Now I'm back on my way back home along the M62. The car, I've bought the car. It is a 1999 Rover 25 diesel. But I can't drive two cars at once, so I've enlisted the help of Allegro Man, who came along and he's driven it back to his. And on Friday, I shall do a reveal of this particular car. Other news, the new microphone that I've got, the battery's flat and you can't charge it whilst on the move so easily. So I'm having to use the old one. Windy day. We must slow down for the windy day. Our trucks will be blown across the carriageway, and cars will too, if driven that way. Inside my car, the metal cage. I am calm and free of rage. So warm, so snug, so happy and pleased. The headstrong winds and battering breeze, it feels a bit like my brakes have seized. BMW in front there was doing some Audi driving just a second ago.